Hello and hi. We are going to look at writing part 3 on article writing. What do you need to know about this part? Writing part 3 is an extended writing task. It is a choice of 3 questions. You have to choose one question. You have to write with an appropriate style. Remember that you need to write various sentence structures. You may use accurate vocabulary and write the answers in 200 to 250 words. Here's the objectives of this lesson. The first objective, to write an article on ways to save money using appropriate format, register, and tone. Second objective, to answer all the 3 Qs with clear thesis statements. Third objective, to elaborate the thesis statements. Remember that thesis statement refers to main point. What's important in article writing? It is communicate with the audience clearly, where you deliver or express thoughts to the audience. You need to get your readers' attention by talking to them in more direct way, which is be less formal. Use words like we and us to make readers feel included in what you are writing about. Try putting some of your ideas in the form of a question. For example, how would you feel if? Here's an example on how you can put some ideas in the form of question. This is based on the Form 5 English download textbook on page 52. Now let's look at the example. There are 2 sentence structures. The first structure is a more formal tone. The second structure is a less formal tone. Let's look at the first structures. This is an idea in an ordinary opening sentence. Teenagers are often told they spend too much money on brand name fashion. They often buy expensive trainers, for example, when cheaper ones are just as good. Look at the second structure. This is an idea in the form of question. How much do you spend on new trainers? We all want to have the latest brand name fashion, but are we spending too much money on it? Let's look at language bank in getting readers' attention by asking question. Here's some of the lists for asking the readers. How often do you? How much do you? Do you? Or could you? Can you imagine? Have you or do you ever? How would you feel if? And remember to include the readers in your writing by using you or your, we or our, and us. Let's look at the sample question. You see this notice in the town newsletter. Articles wanted. Keeping the neighborhood safe. What can residents do to keep the neighborhood safe? What facilities are needed to keep the neighborhood safe? How can neighborhood safety be improved? Write us an article answering these questions. The best article will be displayed in the town newsletter. Now highlight the content of your writing. The first question, the second question, and the third question. Now here's the task. Identify the title for the article and answer the 3 points asked for in the task. Let's look at the sample answer. This article begins with the title, Keeping the Neighborhood Safe, followed by the writer by Harrison Jack Anak Henry. There are a total of 5 paragraphs. The first paragraph is the introduction. The second, the third, and the fourth paragraph are the body part. And the last paragraph is the conclusion. The highlighted sentences are based on the 3 questions from the writing task required, which is the thesis statement that is refers to the main points of each paragraph. The questions are: what can the residents do to keep the neighborhood safe? As for the question 1. Question 2. What facilities are needed to keep the neighborhood safe? And question 3. How can neighborhood safety be improved? Let's read through the sample answer. Recently, our neighborhood had experienced a spate of robberies, and this is a serious matter for all of us. It is time for all the residents and the authorities to take action to keep the neighborhood safe. What can we do as responsible residents? Firstly, we could form a neighborhood watch group. We can then take turns patrolling the neighborhood at night. A WhatsApp group or even an app could be created for all the residents to refer to. We can disclose safety or burglary incidents on this app so that others will know what to look out for. In order to make the neighborhood safer, the lighting in the neighborhood should be improved. Apart from more street lights, each household too should turn on their porch lights in the evenings and install motion detector lights in the back or at the sides of the house. Another way to keep the neighborhood safe is by being friendly with our neighbors. We can offer ourselves as a resource in case of emergencies or help needed on other residents' end. In a friendly environment, neighbors could then easily tell each other if going away so that we can keep a lookout on each other's houses. It is important that all the residents cooperate in order to keep the neighborhood safe. If everyone works together, the neighborhood will be safer. Here's a suggestion to write a complete writing like this. Suggested pattern for this writing is based on Tiny QC. Ti refers to the title. You can take it from the notice. N refers to name. I refers to introduction, the general idea about the topic, or you may define the keywords. Q refers to the 3 questions. And finally, C refers to conclusion, where you sum up all your points. Now here's your task. You see this notice on the Community Recreation Center notice board. Articles wanted. Our Community Recreation Center. Questions are: what classes would you like the Recreation Center to provide? What special facilities should the Recreation Center have? How can the Recreation Center be improved? Write us an article answering these questions. The best article will be displayed in the town newsletter. Write your article. Now pay attention on the title for this article. The title is Our Community Recreation Center. And don't forget to write your name below the title by adding the word by or written by. For example, Our Community Recreation Center by Henrietta Olivia Juna. As for the introduction, you may provide general idea of the title based on the sample questions. It should be about a community center in general. You may also define keywords if applicable to the topic. Now let's break down the 3 questions. Question 1. What classes would you like the recreation center to provide? You can say baking, dancing, playing music instrument, and give some examples. Why should the center provide those classes, and what time is the best? Moving on to the second question. What special facilities should the recreation center have? You can say at the swimming pool, it is a good form of exercise for all ages. Or zebra crossing, or refers to crosswalk, or the overhead bridge, where it is near the main road, where there is a heavy traffic. Question 3. How can the recreation center be improved? Suggested answer, the area is cafeteria. There are coffee machine, vending machine, ventilation fans, and state Wi. You can add more stalls by adding variety of food. Hire cleaners to ensure cleanliness of the area. Don't forget to use linkers in your writing. And suggested idiom that you can use in your writing here is build bridges and win-win situation. Moving on to the conclusion, you need to reiterate and summarize your main points. Rephrase and then restate your thesis statements, which refers to the main point of each paragraph in the body parts. Do not add any new point or idea or argument in the conclusion. Now here's a sample guided answer for your reference. You may start with the title for your article. You can provide a name, for example, Jelita Community Recreation Center, followed by your name as the writer, for example, by Eve Josette Owen. You may have this introduction for your writing. What do you think about our community recreation center? It seems to have been meeting the expectation of a community center, doesn't it? However, there is still room for improvement in order to attract more community members to visit the center. As you can see, the introduction starts with questions to get the reader's attention. Moving on to the next paragraph, which is based on question 1. For this part, you need to choose the correct answer from the options provided in brackets. As for this part, you need to refer to the questions again and fill in the blanks to complete your writing. Now it's your turn. Try to answer the writing task required. Good luck!